Hey guys, we have some big time Jupiter energy that we need to talk about this weekend. Both Mars and the Sun, these hot, fire, masculine planets, forming aspect to Jupiter simultaneously this weekend. This is actually an energy that's sort of been coming into effect all week. And ultimately, what this energy is actually driving for is to help us find some solutions and implement them in regards to solving some problems that we may realize that are coming to the forefront for us somehow this weekend as well. We have all of the energy, all of the motivation, all of the vision, courage, strength, assertiveness to take some action to make things happen. People are probably going to be quite enthusiastic this weekend. We want to watch like biting off more than we can chew or taking things over the top, but this is honestly like moving mountains energy. We have the ability to really zone in on what needs to be fixed and implement the remedy or implement the solution or do whatever job needs to be done to move us forward. There's also an energy about like making some progress, very results oriented nature coming through as well, and we definitely want to use the energy this weekend to make improvements in our life somehow. This is also likely to be just a very fired up, lively energy where we're kind of wanting to celebrate life and like indulge the senses to some extent. Doing things with passion and with fervor may also be sort of the vibe that is coming through and what is motivating us on some level. So we got a lot to talk about today, you guys, what's going on this weekend, and also, what has been playing out sort of throughout the course of the week that has been contributing to the energy that we are likely to experience this weekend. So that being said, let's get into it. Let's look at what we have going on, these aspects, transits in a little bit more detail, and see perhaps what they might be indicating as the energy unfolds this weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, August 4th, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend, where we are narrating the shift of the ages on this channel. What we are doing is we are looking at the astrology as it's happening on a day-to-day basis, what it might bring, what it could be indicating, what our experiences might look like as a result, but we are always doing it through the perspective, in the context of, and keeping in mind this greater transition and shift of ages that is also simultaneously underway. The bridge between the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius, where we are at now energetically and vibrationally. We are on that bridge, we are crossing it, and each step that we take to get to the other side, to get closer to the age of Aquarius, is like these aspects and transits that are happening on these more microcosm, day by day levels, the changes that they are creating in our energy body as a result of our interaction with them, and the greater impact that that is having over time and helping us to evolve our own frequencies and energies, go through this process of conscious awakening that is creating the shift of the ages, as above so below, as we become the vessels and the anchors for this new frequency that's coming in as we respond to these cosmic changes that are taking place right now as the galactic blueprint unfolds. So as above so below, you guys, narrating the shift of the ages, that is what we are doing on this channel. And this weekend, the step that we are taking is really, like I said, about giving us this greater vision and helping us to solve some problems. If you guys saw my full moon video for the full moon in Aquarius that we just had, the way that transits, aspects, energy was lining up for that full moon had a lot to do with bringing us to a point where we're ready to make and implement some big changes based on essentially what we can no longer avoid dealing with anymore. We had a simultaneous exact Saturn-Mercury opposition, and for Mercury to be an exact to the degree aspect for any new moon or full moon, this is relatively rare because Mercury moves so quickly. Mercury is only ever at, one specific degree, usually for like less than the duration of one 24-hour period of one day. So for Mercury to happen to be in the exact alignment with Saturn retrograde as our full moon in Leo, or full moon in Aquarius, was coming in, this was telling us that like there was some scrupulous judgments perhaps that we need to make at this period of time. Mercury and Saturn in opposition, this really like narrows our focus, and it can make us tend towards like the pessimistic side of things. Like a lot of times when Mercury and Saturn are together, like we can't help but only be able to see the flaws, and it makes us very hypercritical and very judgmental, and it can just sort of make us, extra kind of cold and again narrow-minded and critical, and like we can't avoid looking at the problems, seeing the problems, finding the problems. But in the context of this other energy that's playing out and the Jupiter energy that we've been moving through all week, because simultaneous to Mars, or to Mercury, sorry, and Saturn having been in the exact opposition for our full moon on Tuesday, on August 1st, as we started and opened this month, that Jupiter trine Mars energy is carrying through this entire week through to the weekend. And Jupiter in trine to Mars, this is some of the absolute best energy there is for accomplishing anything like this, and especially being in earth signs, Virgo and Taurus. This is mountain moving energy. This energy like instills us internally with a sense of faith and trust and belief in our ability to act, in our ability to be assertive. It gives us courage and strength and motivation. All of these like Mars Aries qualities and characteristics, it enhances them through faith, trust, belief, what Jupiter brings, but it's in ourselves and in our ability to act and in the way that we're using our energy and how we're behaving when we're talking about the Mars dynamics. So while this full moon was really, maybe bringing into context where things are off, or where things are broken, or where they're not working, or, where there's flaws in the system, and we're being hypercritical about that. Simultaneously, we also have this very expansive vision of how to fix a problem, how to implement a solution, and like the gusto to make it happen. So we've been given both, sort of like the problem and the solution coming in at this period of time as of our full moon in Aquarius. And as we've been moving through this week, again, that happened on August 1st. Now we are, moving into the first weekend of August 4th, and we not only are coming out of this Mars-Jupiter trine energy, which is very much still present as we are heading into the weekend, but the sun is also throughout the course of the week, and as we head towards the weekend, building closer and closer and closer into a square with Jupiter, which will come exact on Sunday. So Mars trining Jupiter, this is the I can accomplish anything, I can move mountains energy because I believe in myself, but also like it's literally like, not only is it the, internalized confidence dimension of things that helps us to be more successful in whatever we're trying to do, but it's also this like just enhanced energy level generally. Like we just have more energy, we're just like riding a bit higher, our vitality is expanded during this period of time as well. So it's like the dual components of that. Like we literally actually have more energy, and simultaneously we also are believing in ourselves more and having more confidence, and we're just like more passionate about things and just ready to go. And so those things in combination are really going to help us solve some problems, create some remedies. And another interesting thing about this, Mercury in the opposition to Saturn for our full moon, and this is energy we're coming out of by the time we get to the weekend, and Mars in the trine to Jupiter for our full moon. Mercury and Mars are both in the sign of Virgo. So these Virgo themes, the problems that are coming up to us perhaps, or that are on our mind, or that are glaring, or that we can't get away from with the Mercury and Virgo opposite Saturn and Pisces energy, that's the same exact vibe that Mars and Virgo is getting, a bird's eye view perspective, an expanded perspective, a wisdom, truth, all of that, clarity coming through from Jupiter, trining from the sign of Taurus. So problems and solutions like along the same lines, and it's having to do with the sign of Virgo, right? Getting in shape, getting on track, getting organized, getting healthy, getting results, getting our ducks in a row, getting out of something what we've put into something. This is also the harvest results oriented energy as well, reaping what we've sown, finding ways and implementing strategies also to streamline processes, to make systems more productive and effective and efficient, to make, the output that we're getting require maybe less energy input and stuff like that as well, refining things and adding value. When we have Mars in the sign of Virgo, this is energy into refining things, into bringing them to their best possible form. When we've got Jupiter in the sign of Taurus, this is expanding value. So how can we solve problems, or how can we add value, or How can we take better care of ourselves? How can we enhance levels of wellness and vitality? All that type of stuff. Very supported, very active in the energy field this weekend. But and those are probably also the themes that we're interacting with. There's probably a huge just like internal drive maybe to get more organized, to like get on a schedule, or again, to like fix something, to come up with solutions. This is also about healing the body, also ourselves when we're talking about Mars in the sign of Virgo. So there could be some like health healing related stuff going on as well, but also lifestyles, habits, routines. How can we make them better? How can we make them more efficient? How can we make them, again, just contributing more to like our overall betterment, success, well-being when we're talking about the trine to Jupiter as well. Now, I do need to say, and I've been talking about this also, there are some downsides to the Jupiterian energy because, of course, anything taken to excess a lot of times can turn into a detriment. And so we really, really want to be careful that we are not overdoing it this weekend, that we are not biting off more than we can chew, that we are not overcommitting ourselves in terms of like making plans for what we feel like we can do or what we feel like we can accomplish in this energy. Because again, like we probably feel like we can move mountains to some extent, and we can in the energy this weekend. But that does not mean that we're going to want to necessarily like maintain that level of energy or have that level of energy to maintain like long into the future. We do not want to be like committing ourselves to perpetually do whatever it is that we are having the energy to do this weekend in this energy, because we truly can do and accomplish more than usual in this energy. But again, it's not something that we're like, we don't want to be like, oh, like today, this weekend, I feel like I can do like all of this, so I'm going to plan to do it a different weekend. No, it's like if you feel like you can do it in the moment, do it in the moment, but don't think just because like you feel like you can do it in the moment that you're going to be able to do that same thing with that same level of exertion and the motivation to do it at like some various point in time in the future. So ultimately this weekend though, before we really get into it, extremely useful energy. Do not waste the energy this weekend. And I don't think we'll be able to. People probably just have like plans along these lines or have been planning to do things along these lines. People are going to be active this weekend, that we can pretty much be sure of, but ultimately all about making these big changes and fixing things to make dynamics or systems or elements of our lives better, more productive, or more efficient in some type of way. Remember, refining things and adding value. Super like huge themes of Mars in Virgo in a trine to Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. Now let's talk also about the sun in the sign of Leo forming the square to Jupiter in Taurus. We've got the Jupiter in Taurus again. We're talking about the same planet, but now this square is coming from the sun in Leo. These are fixed signs. And Jupiter in Taurus, you guys, sun in Leo, there's also, aside from whatever it is we need to accomplish this weekend or whatever we're trying to fix, there's also likely to be sort of like, a vibe having to do with indulging our senses somehow and just generally like celebrating or being able to enjoy life. Work hard, play hard. Also huge vibe this weekend. People are going to be wanting to have a good time, good food, great times, fun and games. Also total vibe with the sun and Jupiter in their square and these fixed signs, Leo and Taurus, because of course Leo, this is all about fun and games and like joy and happiness and celebration and play and like what really lights us up inside, what makes us feel alive. And then it's also the very super powerful creative this weekend is energy this weekend as well. If you got creative projects that you're working on, especially with this Mars Jupiter problem solving energy as well, and Venus retrograde, in terms of creative projects or artistic endeavors, music, art, fashion, design, anything along those lines, you maybe actually find yourself bringing back or reinvigorating maybe some old projects that you were working on that for whatever reason never got finished, maybe seeing them in a new light and like knowing now how to finish them and they turn into like this beautiful, amazing creative work. Like that is definitely a vibe coming through, but also like any inspiration, creative inspiration that is coming this weekend, go with it, work with it, because what is produced in this energy is not going to be replicatable at another time. So definitely want to use it for the best, as it's coming through really positive for any type of creative endeavors as well. People overall probably feeling quite jovial and joyful and just like wanting to experience all that life has to offer. Well, we have this big energy square. It's like the sun. This is our life force, what lights us up inside, our vitality, all of that. Jupiter, even though it's a square, squares from Jupiter generally still have a tendency of being quite positive, and it just creates this very useful energy where we can pretty much get like and accomplish anything that we are like putting our energy towards in this energy. However, again, we do need to keep in mind what could be seen as a more detrimental aspect of this energy, the lower octaves of this energy. Jupiter, it can take things over the top, you guys. Jupiter, Sagittarius, like this energy at its lower octaves can be quite like arrogant, right? Know-it-all, very dogmatic, sort of like large and in charge, overblown sense of self, very like self-aggrandizing, and just carried away, wrapped up, like immersed in, you know, our own beliefs and ideas to the extent that we sort of like can't see beyond our own echo chamber, you know what I mean? Ego trips, grandiose attitudes and behaviors. Also with all of this fire energy in Jupiter, you know, this could also be like excessive anger, excessive rage, like lack of self-control, just like kind of taking things over the top, excess, extravagance, right? You know, be careful also with like extravagant purchases and stuff like that. May not be in our best interest. And people, situations, circumstances could just get out of control quickly. Things could go from like 0 to 60 like or 100 like very fast and kind of like spill over, and we just want to kind of stay grounded to the best of our ability and not allow our ego to run the show or get us all whipped up, or we don't want to allow ourselves to like lose control of ourselves in, you know, any real type of way. Also, you know, excessive heat, fever, inflammation, rashes, fire, all of these like Mars, Sun oriented things that can come as a result of just an excessive Mars energy with the Jupiter. This is also something that could, you know, on one hand be a part of our experience this weekend. However, I do feel like these things are generally less likely because we are talking about Jupiter, which is, for the most part, always, at least on some level, a positive influence. And it is just bringing this huge energy to make things happen, to get things done, to accomplish tasks, to enjoy life much more likely. And people are probably overall going to be feeling quite good. As I said, you know, Jupiter also always associated with bringing wisdom, truth, luck, blessings. Universe does have our back right now. You might find yourself just like experiencing some type of lucky break, taking risks and stuff are supported in this energy, but we don't want to just rush forward into things like without thinking. Also, we don't want to be too impulsive or too rash or too reckless with the Mars Jupiter energy. Although remember, Jupiter is wisdom and Jupiter is the bigger picture and the overall perspective. So we are likely to be, you know, for the most part, acting in alignment, at least with some type of vision, even if it may be a little bit over the top going throughout the course of this weekend. And we have to remember, of course, like just because maybe we do have this greater vision or this greater image or insight into something, perhaps it doesn't mean that we should be careless, and it doesn't mean that we should be sloppy or avoid like more of the minor intricacies or like the small details about things, because that's can be another downside of the Jupiter energy. Things can have a tendency of like getting lost in like the smaller details can get lost in like the overall vision. And it can cause us to be a bit sloppy, okay, when we've got too much Jupiter energy operating. So another thing that we want to keep in mind, but again, we can probably truly feel like we can make anything happen. And specifically on the energy on Friday, there could be an element of just genuinely feeling like if we work towards it, if we create a strategy or a plan, or if we make adjustments to our lifestyle, this, that, or the other, along the lines of the Mars Virgo energy, that we can make our dreams come true. We have the moon on, it's interesting because to start the weekend on Friday, the moon will be transiting the late degrees of the sign of Pisces, coming into a conjunction with Neptune. This could, it could have a couple different impacts on our experience, but one of them is we may truly feel like we can bring our dreams or our visions or our fantasies to life in this energy. Like we know the way, like we have the plan, like we see the path from this like higher Jupiter perspective. And with the Mars energy, like we have the strength and everything that we need to make it happen. Like we're not running from the challenge. And with the square to the sun, we feel like we can do it. We feel like we can accomplish anything, and whatever we sort of put our energy towards, this is what is going to grow. So we could really be feeling like we can make anything happen for ourselves in the energy, especially as it's coming in on Friday. On the other hand of this though, we want to be careful that we are not sort of like living in like a fantasy that we are creating for ourselves based on some type of distortion of our own ego, okay? Because there are lower octaves of this energy that could be sort of keeping us stuck in an illusion of grandeur, and we want to be conscious, okay? We do want to be grounded and we do want to be practical. Remember, we're talking about this Virgo energy. However, we may just be feeling very inspired about the potentials, the possibilities, and what could be as the moon aligns with Neptune while we have all this Jupiter energy going on. Remember, another dimension of this is the like general energy playing out is we also have Venus retrograde right now in both a conjunction to the black moon and a square to Uranus. This, I feel like, is going to be bringing over this next couple of weeks an intense desire to end relationships that do not reflect or support like our wholeness as a being, like who we really are, like all aspects of ourselves. Venus and the black moon coming together. This is like both sides of the feminine, in alignment. This is like indicating sort of like an internalized wholeness. And in the square to Uranus, this is like an authentic truth. It's like anybody or any relationship or any situation that is not okay with like the wholeness of my being or who I really am, or both the dark and the light sides of me. This could be something that it seems very suffocating right now, or maybe coming to a point in time where we just have no more interest in relationships that do not support, as I said, like the entirety of our being. With the Venus black moon alignment coming in in the square to Uranus in the sign of Taurus, which is also ruled by Venus. So it's like we no longer value the relationships that don't accept our inner fullness or our inner wholeness. So very interesting that we have that playing out on the sidelines as well. And then of course we also have Pluto in an exact square to the nodes of the moon. And this is breaking us free, breaking down, the old version of ourselves based on who we identified as in the context of like our social groups and like the community standards and like where we're from and like how we had defined ourselves up until this period of time based essentially on like the group expectations of others. And now we are entering a leadership era of our lives right now with the North Node transiting the sign of Aries, where we really need to gain a greater relationship to our own personal identity outside of any group context. And Pluto, the great destroyer, but also bringing rebirth, purge, purification, ultimate transformation. So this is also an energy that is persisting through the rest of the summer and has been in effect essentially since the new moon and Cancer cycle. That is also helping us to break ourselves free from or transition out of essentially like one way of being where we were defined by others and step into a new dimension of our own selves and of our own experiences where we are much more so where our outer presentation is a much greater reflection of our internal truths. We're re-identifying ourselves, you guys, and this should be an interesting journey that we're going on as the North Node transits the sign of Aries over this next year and a half. Leadership era, like I said. But as we are moving through this energy, and we've also got Pluto in the trine to the nodes, it's like this process of deep transformation and growth is simultaneously going on. And with the Venus retrograde and the square to Uranus, that is also referencing, disconnecting from past relationships that aren't in alignment and supportive of who we are in the process of becoming now. And then also with the moon in the conjunction to Neptune, while we have all this Jupiter going on, it's all this Jupiter energy, it's also like being inspired by the vision of what could be. So really like the full recipe this weekend for making big changes, implementing solutions, seeing problems, seeing what's no longer working for us, and understanding why, and also knowing what to do to remedy that, to make a change, to implement a solution, to fix things somehow. This is a big fixing energy. So we know something has come to an end. We know we need to do something different, daydreaming about what could be and how things could change once we take the action necessary to implement those changes. We do want to be careful though. Like I said, there is a level of delusion that could be coming with this as well. Not great energy, as I mentioned, for overextending ourselves. We may be under some type of an illusion, of course, that we can take on more than we actually can, or that we have just like the resources or the capacity to manage something that is a bit beyond us, because in this energy this weekend, we do have the energy to manage maybe an element of that. So we just don't want to bite off more than we can chew, and we don't want to take on that which is not truly realistic for us on like a long-term level, regardless of how motivated we feel in this energy or how much we truly believe that we can actually do it, the confidence that we have in ourselves. And again, you can do it. You should do it. Like, this is energy that supports it. It's just not not going to be the most endurant energy that there possibly is. So some type of dream, fantasy, ideal, or inner vision could really be kind of driving things for us on Friday. And again, the past and the future very likely to be somehow interwoven in this as well. In terms of symbolism coming through on Friday, we have the sun at 13 degrees of Leo. That Sabian symbol is an old sea captain rocking on the porch of his cottage. And then we also have Mercury at 9 degrees of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is an expressionist painter making a futuristic drawing. So, these two symbols again are sort of the past and the future, kind of sitting there, pondering, thinking about where we've been and what we've done and where our journey up until this point has brought us. The ships going out, ships going in, and where we're at now, the wisdom that we've gained through experience, but also how we're going to apply that to the future, what we want to create going forward, what we want this new reality that we are moving towards to look like as it comes into fruition. The futuristic drawing that the expressionist painter is painting, and simultaneously the old sea captain sitting there with his sense of nostalgia, the past and the future, where we've been, where we're going, who we've been, who we're becoming, and the changes that need to take place, the fixes that need to be undergone, or the remedies that need to be implemented in order to get there. That's what I'm going to say for Friday. Moving into Saturday, the energy picks up even more, if we can really, believe that, because now the moon will leave the sign of Pisces and enter the sign of Aries, ruled by Mars. The moon in Aries is supporting Mars in a trine to Jupiter. We're probably going to be really fired up, you guys. Probably going to be really passionate, fiery, lively. Again, this creative energy, so much creative energy. Passions are probably running very high. We probably feel like we can do, conquer, accomplish anything. People are probably having the urge to do something, to make something happen, to take action on something, and with fervor in this energy. This is very much like Knight of Wands energy, I feel like, that we have coming through. Take something on, right? Games and sports, competitions, challenges with the Aries Libra energy. Sun in, the moon in Aries, the sun in Libra, and then Mars, the Jupiter trine, the square from Jupiter to the sun. Very action oriented, very masculine energy that we have coming through, but it is harmonious and it is enthusiastic and it is benevolent. The the moon in Aries will be forming a trine to the sun in Leo. This is a fire sign trine between the moon and the sun, both luminaries. Very balanced, harmonious, facilitating energy to make things happen, to get things done, to start something new, but not relationships. We're starting new things. We're starting over in all areas of our life except relationships with a Venus retrograde energy, but making changes, taking on challenges as well. If you got to confront something, definitely a good weekend to do it. People are not going to be running from a challenge. People are not going to be running from a fight. Again, fixing things, hard work, energy, and effort pay off, and work hard, play hard energy, like the true definition of that is, I feel like, how we have this energy coming together on Saturday. So it should generally be a pretty good time. And again, spirits are probably quite high. People are probably quite full of themselves as well. Confidence, enthusiasm, passions, energy. But it is good vibes and very harmonious. People are probably just going to be in a good mood and really going to want to have some fun and just make some things happen. But again, I recommend using this energy for something productive if you have something productive to apply it to. Now, moving into Sunday, Sunday is the biggest energy day of the weekend because this is the day when the Sun-Jupiter square comes exact. The Sun will be at 15 degrees of Leo and Jupiter will be at 15 degrees of Taurus. So this is what we're looking at the energy for Sunday, and we will also have the moon in the sign of Aries coming into a conjunction with the north node of the moon. The north node is, of course, the destiny point. The north node is very much responsible for this new leadership era that we are entering in right now, and the new the rebirths in various areas of our life, depending on where the north node and where Aries is in your birth chart. That is the house that is going to be involved in whatever these new beginnings are bringing to us right now, however we are redefining ourselves in the context of that area of our life. But this is the moon's presence next to or conjuncting the north node as we have this Sun-Jupiter square coming into fruition on Sunday. I do believe that this is letting us know that whatever we're feeling passionate about, whatever we're feeling inspired by, whatever we're feeling like driven to pursue in this energy is very much related to essentially like our next step on the path of, you know, what we're learning, how we're growing according to the like evolutionary course of the north node of the moon right now. So, you know, very purposeful energy, very self-directed energy, very future-oriented energy coming through on Sunday, and it's assisting us to align with new experiences and a new path of personal growth that is very much involved in whatever the next year and a half brings to us, because this is the north node of the moon. This is indicating a lesson that we are going to be learning, a new beginning, a rebirth, a fresh start in some area of our life that is going to be coming into fruition over the course of the next year and a half. And as the moon comes into alignment with the north node in the sign of Aries, ruled by Mars in the trine to Jupiter, while Jupiter is an exact square to the sun. Again, whatever this Aries, Mars, fired up, passionate influence is driving us to do, become, fix, re-identify ourselves as right now, it's very much related to where we're going, where we're growing, who we're becoming next over the course of the past year and a half. So pay attention to, you know, what you're inspired by and what you're motivated by and what you feel called towards and where you want to put your time and energy during this weekend over this period of time, because it is giving us some clues to who we're becoming next as, you know, this next phase of growth unfolds. Focus on who I'm becoming now, the changes I need to make to support my process of personal transformation. We are not biting off more than we can chew, as we've discussed, but we are making some big gains this weekend towards redefining ourselves, redefining our future. Any changes that we have been trying to make or that we've been feeling called to make or that we've sort of been gearing ourselves towards over maybe this past couple weeks or since, you know, we kind of started moving through the summer, especially in regards to any type of self-improvement or redefining ourselves in some capacity in this new direction, very cosmically supported at this period of time. Growth, making things better, making adjustments, making improvements, getting organized, getting healthy, getting our lives together. This is where the gold is at this point in time. And also, as I said before, refining things in a way that creates an enhanced level of value for us somehow. Refining things and adding value. Very strong supported themes. Also, as this energy unfolds this weekend, specifically also in the energy on Sunday, let's talk about some symbolism now. We are being supported very much so, both internally and externally, with gifts and resources and abilities that we need to really actually weather any storms that we may be up against right now or face any obstacles that we may come into contact with. And the symbolism is talking about it. And also the aspects with Jupiter and Mars, you know, we can conquer anything, we can move mountains in this energy, talking about it as well. But in terms of this symbolism, we've got Mars at 17 degrees of Virgo in the energy on Sunday. That Sabian symbol is a volcanic eruption. We have Jupiter at 15 degrees of Taurus in the exact square to the sun. That Sabian symbol is a man with a rakish silk hat, muffled against the cold, braves a storm. We also have Venus retrograde at 25 degrees of Leo. That Sabian symbol is a large camel crossing a vast and forbidding desert. And when I look at all of these symbols, like in the context of where we're at right now energetically and what we're going through, again, taking into context as well this full moon cycle where we had Mercury and Saturn in exact opposition, it's like, yeah, there could be a volcanic eruption. Like, there could be definite issues that we are finding, discovering, having to deal with. There could be something daunting, a camel crossing a vast and forbidding desert that we need to engage in. There could be a storm that we need to face. The man with the rakish silk hat, muffled against the cold, faces the storm. But the thing is, like, we have the resources, right? This is the camel. They have everything they need inside of them to make it through that voyage, to make it through that journey. This is also talking about the man. He's got the hat. He's muffled against the storm. Like, we've got both internal resources and supplies and external protection supporting us in conquering or overcoming, whatever volcanic eruption or whatever storm or whatever issue or whatever task or whatever journey we need to overcome or undergo or complete at this point in time. So we've got it within us, and we have support externally as well, and we just need to put one foot in front of the other and put the pedal to the metal and get going on whatever it is that we need to make happen in this energy. And we're prepared for any truth that may be revealed to us as well. We also have Mercury on Sunday at 12 degrees of the sign of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is a bride with her veil snatched away. We're simultaneously, like, things are being exposed to us. We're finding out the truth. We're seeing, right, the bigger picture. We're being able to connect the dots. We've got this we're seeing things from a greater state of wisdom and understanding, and the wisdom that we've gained through our experience, and we are prepared to face anything that may be revealed to us in these moments as they pass as well, that could create something that we need to overcome. And we're good. No worries, you guys. The position of the sun on Sunday, I also feel like kind of encapsulates the entire vibe of this whole weekend with all of this Jupiter sun energy. 15 degrees of Leo, where the sun is in the exact square to Jupiter on Sunday. That Sabian symbol is a pageant, moves along a street packed with people. So, this Jupiter energy, this sun energy, this Aries moon energy, there's just so much energy, so much passion, so much like exuberance and enthusiasm moving in all directions. But overall, you guys, should be a great weekend. People should generally be sort of riding very high, right? But we don't want to bite off more than we can chew again. And we don't want to also underestimate ourselves, because we can really do it. We can really accomplish anything. We can really climb to the top this weekend, but we just don't want to commit to necessarily like being that mountain mover on a daily basis for our title, for our job all the time. But this weekend, that energy definitely suits us. So it's time to get to work, time to make things happen, time to accomplish something, time to create something, time to make our circumstances better for ourselves in some type of a way. And I feel like that is the name of the game where we're at this weekend. And it's setting us up, if you guys watched my August overview, this month of August is likely to be very interesting, maybe a little bit exciting, and just very, like, there could be some very unexpected things that are happening. We could be sort of a bit all over the place, and energy could be a bit taxing, okay, as we move through the rest of this month. So staying grounded to the best of our ability, and again, not allowing ourselves to get too whipped up and too carried away, is going to help us, because we got some big surprises coming up over this next couple weeks, you guys. And we're going in a positive direction, but this Jupiter energy is like giving us the confidence to make some big changes or to figure some things out that are going to be really like having an impact moving forward throughout the course of the rest of this month. So it'll be interesting to see what goes down. And again, should be a great weekend. Let's grab a synchronicity card now, you guys. Let's get some advice. God, Spirit, Universe, what do we need to know about the energy this weekend? What should our mantra be? What guidance could we use? It says wait. So we've got wait. You guys, it says, wait on the Lord and he shall save thee. Proverbs 20:22. Relax, let go, and let God. Don't struggle to make things happen before they are ready to happen. Wait and be assured everything is working together for your good. Now is not the right time to advance. Wait in faith and expectancy of the very best. Know that when the time comes to advance, you will be directed to do and say the right things. So this is not necessarily the weekend, again, for like pushing things, for forcing things, for being grandiose and overblown and too full of ourselves and like just overly confident about stuff. But we do need to believe in ourselves. We do need to trust ourselves, and things are going to fall into place. Things are going to come into alignment for us. We've got the trine between the sun and the moon on Saturday. We've got all of this Jupiter energy coming through. And again, with Pluto in square to the nodes of the moon, the north node and the moon coming into alignment on Sunday, like things are happening according to a higher plan, divine alignment, divine intervention as well coming in to sort of save the day, and universe has our back. Okay, these are some lucky times, and you know, as this says, know that when the time comes to advance, you will be directed to do and say the right thing. So we're just paying attention, going with the flow of things, and not pushing, but trusting the process also with all the Jupiter energy this weekend. Faith, trust, belief in a higher plan, highest octaves of the Jupiter energy, the true wisdom, Christ consciousness. So there we go, you guys. That's what I have to say today. I hope you guys liked it. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would be interested in this type of astrology content. If they would like this as well. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. If you are having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in the comment section below, because your feedback and, you know, hearing what's going on with you guys is very valuable to me, and I love you guys so much. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. I also have a Facebook page, an Instagram, and a Facebook group. Those are in my description box below. If you're interested in what is on these whiteboards, I post a picture of them in my Facebook group. So that is where you can find that. And come back with me on Monday, you guys. We are going to have a new week of astrology to talk about. Week 2 of the month of August is, we're blending energy of like Jupiter and Uranus. Venus retrograde is about to kick up, and the square to Uranus as well. Going to be a very interesting week that we are heading towards, you guys. You don't want to miss it. So come back with me. I will be here. You should be here too. I will see you then. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. I feel quite confident that you will. And until next time, bye guys.